Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 3 between Cruncher and Strelok in the HD World Tournament. Currently in the round of 8, and both players tied 1 game apiece, which means this is it. Only one player can advance forward, and one player will get knocked out of this tournament right here, right now. The pressure is on the line. Strelok going to be our Terran player as usual, and Cruncher going to be our Protoss player. Looks like Cruncher decided to play on Shattered Temple, and I like that decision. It's a good map for Protoss versus Terran, and I think that Protoss has just a small advantage if they spawn on the cross spawn, on the close spawn, which they have. Strelok and Cruncher both spawning right next to each other. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like it puts a little bit more pressure on the Terran player that goes for the 1 barracks fast expand. It's much harder to defend, especially when the Protoss is right across from you, just a few clicks away. And so we'll see how this game plays out. Cruncher already getting his probe inside the main as usual, and this probe already set on killing off some SCVs, and already one SCV getting sent on the eternal mission of chasing down this probe. And that's kind of a crappy job now that I think about it, because how many SCVs chase down this initial scouting probe only to chase it forever and ever and never get the kill? It's almost like you're dangling the carrot in front of the SCV and it never quite gets to it, because any good Protoss player is going to keep that probe alive. The shields will always be regenerated. The one thing that the SCV does do, of course, is keep tabs on that probe and make sure that the probe doesn't do anything like a proxy, and on top of that, it doesn't kill off his fellow SCVs. But still very annoying right now, and Cruncher still has the option to steal the gas here. Oh! Nice right there by Strelok saying, no, I'm intercepting this gas one more time for my team. I'm going to keep that gas alive and kicking, and of course now the probe will have to run away as soon as that Marine comes out. So really nice play so far from Strelok. Meanwhile, Cruncher playing pretty standard. He has his gateway, and he's got his cybernetics core coming down right after the gate. And you gotta wonder, now that it's down to the pressure moment, the final game, is there anything tricky that could possibly happen? It looks like both these players are playing standard. It doesn't look like they're gonna try anything crazy. Strelok opting to once again wall off with his supply depots, as he really likes to do in almost every game. He actually allows the probe inside his main here, and once again almost going for the gas steal, but Strelok right on top of that, protecting his gas. You gotta wonder, are these players gonna go for anything crazy, like a quick Banshee air rush? It doesn't seem to be the case, because Strelok is getting his gas very late. Some kind of a quick Void Ray perhaps from Cruncher. He does have a lot of gas stockpiles right now, and it's possible that he could be going for a Stargate, but with no probe wandering around the map, all the probes are inside the main right now. I don't think Cruncher is gonna build any kind of a proxy. Strelok right now has his supply depots at the front door, everything very well protected, actually going for factory right after the 1 barracks. So he will be going for what seems to be a siege fast expand here, and he just got an SCV. There's the remains of the SCV, just got it inside the main of Cruncher, and Cruncher still has no building going down. This is very peculiar. He is still on 1 gateway, and he's not chrono boosting his warp gate. He's actually chrono boosting his nexus. What the heck is Cruncher doing here? I'm not exactly sure. And keep in mind, Strelok scouted that out. He saw the fact with that SCV, he sacrificed it, and he saw no nexus, no buildings whatsoever. And Cruncher, it almost looks like he's gonna save up for a nexus here, a very delayed nexus off of 1 gateway. This is a 33 nexus, ladies and gentlemen, and this is super bold. And wow, Strelok is going to be making an attack right now. He actually has Hellions coming out rather than a siege tank, so it almost looks like he's gearing up for an attack here with a starport on the way, and he's got Hellions on the ground. These Hellions are going to be very nasty if Cruncher decides to pull probes out the line. It almost looks like Cruncher will have to pull probes to deal with this aggression, wasting a force field here as he realized, wow, if those units get up my main, then I'm in a lot of trouble. But with a bunker going down, Strelok needs to come up with an answer, and he needs to come up with an answer fast. These Marauders, these Hellions are almost certainly going to pick off this Nexus. If Cruncher doesn't do something about it, he's now pulled a ton of probes off the line here, and the probes are about to barrel down the ramp. Cruncher needs to fend this off. It looks like he has enough forces to do it, but at what cost? A ton of probes getting absolutely destroyed by the Hellions. And wow, if we look at the income tab there, Cruncher losing a large majority of his probes. He did save his Nexus though, and that is absolutely key because now Cruncher has 2 Nexuses rather than Strelok's 1 command center. So I think Strelok did some pretty good damage here. You guys can see he's ahead by about 3 Harvesters, but in terms of the mid to late game, I don't know if he did enough, and he's actually now transitioned into Banshees. I love this play. Keep up the aggression after you got your little footmen kind of do their damage to the little henchmen, and the mercenaries have done what they needed to do. Now you take immediately to the skies and you try to harass the Protoss player's probe line. And really, Cruncher doesn't have all that much to defend against a Banshee, especially not with Cloak on the way. And Cloak is about to finish momentarily, and with no robotics bay. There is a robotics bay coming down right now, but the Observer will be a little late to the party, and this Cloaked Banshee is almost certainly going to get some kills here, ladies and gentlemen. Going right into the mineral line, 1 probe kill, 2 probe kills. This is just adding on insult to injury after Cruncher lost about 6 Harvesters, and really Strelok needs to do this damage. The reason why? He knows that he is behind in terms of expansions. His command center is still coming up right now, so the more probes he gets, the better position he sets himself up for the mid game. Killing off about 5 Harvesters so far with this lone Banshee, make it 7 probes. And that Banshee definitely getting its money's worth. A Raven now coming out of the starport. Finally, an Observer popping out of the robotics support bay to, or excuse me, the robotics facility to ward off this Banshee, which is just doing all sorts of damage. It's just hiding back here. Has 7 kills, and with that Banshee there, it really keeps Cruncher on the back foot, because Cruncher's got to wonder, is there a second Banshee? He's got to keep a couple of Stalkers back here. He's got to invest in another Observer, and Strelok right now is just playing mind games with Cruncher. He's got complete map control. Look at how scared Cruncher is. He's got all of his forces kind of balled up inside the mineral line, and there's really not much he can do. In fact, Strelok has 2 Banshees roaming the map right now, and in fact this Banshee down here did get a couple kills of his own, so really nice play. The Terran player now has 34 Harvesters over 29. If we look at the units lost tab, the Protoss player really suffering and just now licking his wounds as he rebuilds his army, remacros his economy, and things are looking pretty bleak. Finally, Cruncher getting his own Observer inside the natural expansion of Strelok just to do a little scouting, but only to be deflected away by a gridlock bunker defense and a Raven, and the Raven with a single Marine may be able to kill off the obs. No stim used. In fact, Strelok doesn't even have stim yet, so really late stim pack upgrade by Strelok. And that is, of course, because he went for the starport strategy, and because he went for this early harass strategy, which I have to say has paid off. Now it is 2 base to 2 base. Strelok has much better tech. He has Banshees, he has dropships, he even has a Raven to scout for possible Dark Templar. So Cruncher is in a lot of trouble, and Cruncher once again very behind in the Colossus technology, still getting the robotic support payout, and here we go, major attack about to happen. Thankfully Cruncher does have energy for that Guardian Shield, and that is basically +2 armor for this entire Protoss army when it comes to dealing with the Marines and Marauders, and that is going to help so much. Actually fends off the entire Terran army and pushes him right back into the natural. And I think Strelok cannot afford to trade right now, because he has the advantage, but without the bunker support, he really can't afford to trade. What he needs to do is use his fragile Banshees to harass the Protoss player. Remember, his army, a lot of it is composed of these high-tech units like Ravens and Banshees, whereas a Protoss army, a lot of it is composed of pretty much brunt force units. So in a big battle, I think the Protoss player comes ahead. But in terms of harassment, Strelok needs to use these Banshees to harass, and that is where he's going to come up. He just can't afford to trade in a big battle. And right now, I really think he should be making an attack happen before these deadly Colossus come out, because they are on the way, guys. You guys can see on the production tab, 1 Colossus and Extended Thermal Lance being researched and produced. And Strelok already on it. He's getting some Vikings out, so he does have his army prepared to deal with the Colossus in the late game, and yes, coming in here with the Banshees to do some damage. Actually, we'll encounter 2 Stalkers here and an Observer, another Stalker being warped in. Strelok is gonna lose his Banshees, and wow, nice defense right there by Cruncher, taking out these Banshees and whittling them away. Now he doesn't have to worry nearly as much about those pesky Banshees, and now he can really get comfortable with building up a large army. He doesn't have to split his army and do the dance back and forth between the main and natural. And just like that, Strelok, I feel like, has let a little bit of his edge leak away. And both these players neck and neck. Remember, whoever wins this game is gonna advance forward to the semifinals of the HD World Tournament. Whoever loses is dunzos. So the pressure really is on the line, and it looks like Strelok here. Wow, the Protoss player, neither player controlling the Xel'Naga Watchtower, and Strelok is gonna get a free drop right into the main here, and the forces of the Protoss all at the front. At the natural expansion, there is really only a couple Stalkers back here, and these Marines and Marauders can do some serious damage. They may decide to go for the mineral line or pick off the robotic support bay. No, they will go for the mineral line, picking off a ton of probes, slaying them all, and the dropships here just waiting to pick them up and evacuate. Brilliant little strike right there. And the Marines and Marauders, are they going to get out of there in time? The Stalkers actually aiming for the dropships here. Uh-oh, Strelok will be able to get one dropship out of there. And because these Stalkers do not have Blink, remember, Cruncher really just getting his tech up with Colossus right now. He doesn't have any Twilight Council down. These Stalkers cannot chase the dropships away. And I think Strelok right there making a brilliant strategical attack has now bought himself more of an economic gap. He's at 46 over 38. He has another orbital on the way downstairs here. It's actually not an orbital. It is a planetary fortress, so really playing it safe with this expansion kind of out of the way. Now that it's a planetary, it can protect the mineral line from any kind of a zealot harass, zealot bomb, proxy pylons, anything like that. And Strelok has a ton of Vikings back at home. Wow, guys, this amount of Vikings is going to be well equipped to deal with almost any number of Colossus. And Cruncher realizes that he's behind after that drop. In fact, if you look at the army tab, Cruncher is down by about 30 supply, and he is actually going to be making an attack here. I don't know if I agree with this. I feel like he should have waited until he was maxed out, but he's going to make an attack nonetheless into these bunkers and this huge line of Vikings, and this may have been a pretty bad decision here. There's just too many Vikings in the air. Strelok is going to absolutely clean the floor, and Cruncher GG's out. Wow, and on top of that, Strelok even using double PDD to completely negate the Stalkers. Remember, point defense drone makes it so Stalkers cannot attack, and at the same time, brilliant play here. Strelok coming in with yet again another drop. It looks like the Marines just started to unload right inside the main. Beautiful play by Strelok. And it looks like Strelok is going to advance forward to the semifinals, ladies and gentlemen. So, well done, well done. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. And next game will be coming up right away. We have, what is it, 3 more series to go in the round of 8. And I think I'm going to be casting Sen versus Noni. I may decide to cast a different series, though, Axlav versus Zoc, which is a series I've been looking forward to, but it is a PvP. So, I don't know yet. I'll think about it. I will cast the next series probably tomorrow. So I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. Brilliant play by both Cruncher and Strelok, but it looks like Strelok is your winner. All right, that's it for me, guys. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned.